Have you ever caught the bus on King Street across from Straub Hospital and wonder what this graveyard is over here? I used to catch the bus to school and look out the window and see the kind of creepy Gothic cemetery here on King Street. And we'll go check it out and see the important people that are buried here. It's called the Roman Catholic Church King Street Cemetery. And there's Straub Hospital over there across the street. So over here is this creepy mausoleum. And it's got some interesting Gothic doors here with a cross on top. And some interesting pillars all around. Some nice borders with some iron gates here. And this mausoleum here houses, or used to house, the Montgomery family. And it's supposed to be empty now. I guess they were relocated somewhere else. But if you don't know much about the Montgomerys, they immigrated here in the 1800s, late 1800s. And they came here from Workington, England. And they pretty much founded the Pu'uloa Salt Works. And you might think Pu'uloa is where Pu'uloa Road is by Lagoon Drive, but it's actually the location of Pu'uloa, where those military houses are located, in Ewa Beach. That used to be a salt farm where they would harvest salt. And I guess the Montgomery family made their fortune there. And if you notice, there's an electrical line here attached to the top, and it goes around here. And there's a dead meter here. And people thought it was weird, but I found out that the electric meter served one of the caretakers that used to live in a cottage that was here, and it burnt down in the 80s, so that meter doesn't work anymore. Here's one that says it's Manuel Lewis, born in Madeira, so he's from Portugal, in 1853 and died in Honolulu in 1921. So, of course, like I said, this is a Roman Catholic cemetery, so everybody here were of the Roman Catholic faith. And a lot of them were Portuguese settlers. Here's one, George Rigo, born in 1904, died in 1919. Get a close-up of his face. Very young. And a lot of people that had these borders over here, they were considered well off and rich, I guess wealthy. A lot of them have very nice headstones. Here's one of an angel of Manuela Soares, also Portuguese. Here's an interesting one. A lot of Portuguese and Hawaiian names here, but here's a Korean guy, Duk Yu Kim. And there's, I don't know. Yeah, it looks like Korean writing on it. It's not Chinese because they have the little blocks, the circles. Here's one with another picture, Cornelius Ayu, 1890 to 1910. So this is a really old cemetery that has been here for a long time. Actually, some facts were where we can see the cemetery, all of this that still lays here today. Everyone was well off pretty much monetarily, or was somebody well known in the community. Where the Hele gas station was, or if you know the old Tesoro, it's now a Hele, all the way to 1 Archer Lane, which is this big condominium here that was kind of built recently. Wasn't there in the 90s. It also houses the KITV building, it was also part of the cemetery, but they built over what used to be graves. I read that most of the bodies were removed, of course, and relocated to places like Temple of the Valley or Diamond Head Mortuary Park. But that section was more of the lower class people, so to say, and not as well known as the people that are here. Not everybody here is well known, but they were pretty much a lot more well off than the graves that were taken over by the buildings and the gas station. This is the grave of Johnena, and he was a businessman, politician, and advisor to both King Kalakaua and Queen Liliuokalani. And if you know Ina Road, which is located in Waikiki, that road was named after him. He died in 1878 at 58 years old. Of course, Hawaii is a melting pot, so here is a picture, if I can get close without being disrespectful to her grave, but it says, in memory of our dear loving mother, Rita Cruz, born in Puerto Rico in 1876, died here in 1926. So she was from Puerto Rico. And over here is another someone who was noteworthy of Hawaii history. It is Mr. Manuel Nunes. He is the inventor of the ukulele. And next to him is his wife, Isabel Augusta. So it's said that Manuel Nunes took two different instruments from Portugal, the bragina and the raho. There are two similar instruments that look like the ukulele but are a little different. The braguna is a 4-stringed instrument and the raho is 5-stringed. He combined them together and he made it, and first it was called the taro patch fiddle. And a man named Edward Purvis, he was King Kalakaua's chamberlain. He had a nickname of ukulele, and in Hawaiian that means jumping flea. Or I guess it was named after him. It's a nickname because he was kind of a rascal. And he always played the instrument often. And so that's one of the legends of why it was called ukulele. Another legend would be that the fingers of the Portuguese people that used to play the instrument, when they played it, it jumped over the strings like jumping fleas. And that's what ukulele means, is jumping fleas. So that's the other story of how the ukulele got its name. And Manuel Nunes, he had an apprentice in the 1900s, about 1910, and that young apprentice was named Samuel Kamaka, and he is now the famous founder of Kamaka ukuleles, which is one of the best ukuleles you can find in Hawaii. So here he is, the inventor of the ukulele. As you can see, towards the back of this cemetery is the Hiko Yard, their main office on Ward. Hiko, if you don't know, is Hawaiian Electric. So you got all these transformers and things here. But the Board of Health at the time, when the cemetery was made, they had the new requirements of digging a 6-foot grave, which is where you get that term. And they found that the farther you went on this side, the ground was harder to dig, probably because it's made out of coral, because you're going towards the Makai area or towards the sea. So the cemetery was then closed further for burials by the Department of Health for anyone wanting to be buried here. And all the other people that needed plots were now directed to Diamond Head Memorial Park. So that is why it ends over here, and the fence line ends that way. Not sure who these people are, but you got Josiah Lewis, born at Stonington, Connecticut, and died here. So lots of people from different places are buried here, and they immigrated to Hawaii. And I noticed there's a couple of these, but they're iron crosses with no inscription, but they're pretty solid. Check out the thickness of that. So in the middle, you've got this huge cross, and I guess it's all the, it's kind of like a mass grave of the members of the Sacred Heart Catholic Diocese with a bishop, but there's also in the back another bishop, Stephen P. Allencaster. This is his smaller headstone. And if that kind of rings a bell, you got Allencaster Street near UH in St. Louis. That's probably named after him. He was also from Portugal. So this is like a memorial. I'm not sure if he's here because it says in memory of a Lieutenant der Marine Fantary. I can't speak. It looks like German. But it says he's from the Imperial Austrian Navy, who died during an expedition in 1869 to 1870 and found their final resting place in this cemetery. That's pretty crazy. Here's something that struck me. It says, in memory of Kale Ahuna, beloved wife of Joseph Kamakau, born in 1887 to 1909, and her infant of 3 weeks old. Wow. It just strikes me because Ahuna was a name of some of my ancestors, so I'm not sure if I'm related, but interesting. Moving along, here's somebody important, and you can tell by the elaborate, nice border fence around it and the nice new paint. You can tell this is well taken care of. The gold tops and the nice green. Nothing's rusted. Nice rocks and very nice headstone. So this is the grave of the family of Robert William Wilcox. And if you don't know him, he was a legislator and a Hawaiian patriot, also a revolutionist that helped the uprising of the Hawaii royal government and the takeover of Dole. He was also a native Hawaiian. He was half Haole. He was a patriot and former delegate of the United States Congress. And he tried to overthrow King Kalakaua. Because he didn't like the political authority from the monarch, it was like going to be removed. Kind of sort of like how the Queen of England or the monarchy in England is now. They don't really have much power, and he didn't want that. And he wanted to replace Kalakaua with his sister, Queen Liliuokalani, which he eventually did replace him anyway after his death. And he failed at both attempts. He was in trouble for treason a lot, but he always got off. But he's here, and he's important. He has a statue on Fort Street Mall. His wife is here, and so are his 2 children. And Robert's wife, Princess Teresa Wilcox, was actually a descendant from a brother of King Kamehameha I. So she was also royalty. It was kind of weird. I don't know where he went, but there was a priest that walked through, and I don't know where he went. He just disappeared. That's kind of freaky. But I actually asked him if it was okay to be here. And he said it was okay to film. But he literally disappeared, so that's kind of freaky. Wow. Here's a headstone that had fallen apart. I'm not sure where his grave should be, but it says, in memory of Joseph Tchelski, born in Krakow, Poland. All kinds of people here. And this looks like an old mausoleum as well, but it's all broken apart. Can't really read what the cross says. It says Antonio Marquez, I think. I'm not sure, it's so faded. But there's nothing in there because the door broke. That's really sad. There's a headstone. Can't really read it. It says something Silva, but it fell down from over there. A lot of it's old. The more further back you get, a lot of it's kind of falling apart. Here's 2 babies. It says baby Edward, Born in July 28th, 1922, died December 29th, 1922, so not even a year old. But on the bottom it says Tutu. It says that here too. Baby Cherry, also born in 1921 and died the same year. Didn't make a year old either. So I'm guessing they're siblings. That's really sad. This is, looks like an Irish plot. We've got James Vaughn from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Suzanne Jane O'Neill. You've got Jeremiah O'Neill, born in Limerick, Ireland. And another O'Neill down here. Daughter. 2 daughters, the smaller ones. Yep, the further back you go, it's kind of like, I'm not sure if it shows your status or class in the day, but you've got these homemade stones, it seems, compared to the nice ones in the front, and all these different plots here, and they don't even have a stone at all, and they're all broken. Here's a Maria Texara. Don't know who she is, but this is what struck me, is her stone has a nice harp on it and some clovers, very Irish with a star, very eccentric. It's got it all over on all 4 corners, but definitely a Portuguese name, not Irish, but very interesting headstone. I like the design. So if you can check out this massive tree, and I guess it wasn't as big before or wasn't here, but it is growing and pushing out this border fence that was here, and obviously looks super old, so pretty crazy how that is. And I'm not sure who was in here, because even the fence fell. That's really sad, and there's no headstones anymore. You can see how the fence just fell from the rust, probably. Not too many Chinese people here, but here's one. Probably part Hawaiian, Kamano Changhun. And it says Grandma. Ah, this one's interesting. Philip Milton from Valparaiso, Chile. And he died here in Honolulu in 1889. And that's nice to see. It's Posidoria Borrero, born in 1904 to 1920. Still has flowers here, and looks like somebody takes care of their grave. Here's some more people from Ireland. Thomas Carey, born in Tipperary, Ireland. And this big monument, or headstone, is for Princess Eugenie Ninito Sumner. And I'm not sure if Sumner Street is named after her, but she is from Tahiti and was the wife of High Chief John Kapilikea Sumner and the friend of Queen Liliuokalani. When the cemetery opened, it used to be more rural than it is now, and now it sits in the middle of urban Honolulu. And there's Straub Hospital right there, and there's all these buildings surrounding it. Supposedly this was land gifted from the Hawaiian monarchs, and it houses mainly people that were of Roman Catholic faith prior to 1930. And if you were buried here, you were most likely wealthy and of higher social status. So that's pretty much my walkthrough of the Roman Catholic Cemetery on South King Street. I try to do these just to break up some of the food reviews. I like to do history of Hawaii on our island and learn about things. And hopefully you can learn some things as well. And you can leave a comment if I forgot something. And I like to be educated on different things about our history. So I'll try to do these once a month and go around the island and do some different things here and there to break up the monotony. But I'll see you later. If you like this video, please like and subscribe to my channel. And I'll see you again next time. Take care. Peace out.